Wildcats. Today we are working on polygons and polyhedrons. So, polygons are two-dimensional figures made up of straight lines, and the shape has to be closed. So, here are some examples to get us started with what we are talking about. If you'll notice on this shape right here, we have all straight sides and they are connected, whereas this is not a polygon because it has this curved side, even though it is connected. This last one is not a polygon because it's open and not closed. So again, for it to be a polygon, it has to be a two-dimensional figure. It's going to have straight lines and they're going to be closed or connected. Next, we're going to talk about 3D shapes. Now, just like a 3D movie or a 3D TV show, these actually pop out at you. They're three-dimensional figures made up of polygons. Now, a polyhedron is a 3D figure whose faces are all polygons. So, you're going to see a flat surface of a 3D figure, and that's going to be called a face. That's going to be the shape that we use to name these shapes. A 3D figure has 3 dimensions. That's where we get the 3 from. We're going to have length, width, and height, as well as depth. So, whenever we're looking at this, we may have something called an edge. An edge is where these two faces meet. Remember, when we're talking about a face is going to be that flat surface of the 3D shape. So let's take a look at this for example. If I'm looking at this triangular prism, here is the face. That's where we get the word triangle. But then we're going to have some edges where they meet. For example, here is an edge and an edge. So, looking at this, another vocabulary word we want to make sure you know is vertex, okay? A vertex is going to be this meeting point where all the corners are connecting, and you can go ahead and write that on your paper that that is a vertex. So, the face that is used to name the polyhedron is called the base. You know, the song All About That Bass, Meghan Trainor. Okay, being corny. A polyhedron is named after the shapes of its base. Now, if you're looking at these shapes, remember, these are shapes you should know and you probably see in everyday life. For example, a sphere is going to be more like a ball, where a cylinder, where you see a circle as the face, it is also the base, is more of like a can shape. You have a cuboid, a cone. A cone is, you know, my favorite thing to eat ice cream out of. A hexagonal prism. You'll notice that the face of this, or the base of this, is where we get the name hexagon. Looking at two other shapes, these are both pyramids, but this one is a square base pyramid because the base is a square, whereas this is a triangular base pyramid because the base is a triangle. Then a cube is a square on all sides, and then we've talked about the prism. Now, for me, the most confusing part about all of this is what is the difference between a prism and a pyramid? Let's talk about it. A prism is a polyhedron that has 2 parallel and congruent bases. So let's go ahead and box that in. We've got 2 parallel and congruent bases. The bases can be any polygon. That's really important. Any polygon will work. The shape of the base tells the name of the prism. The other faces are always going to be parallelograms. So, for example, looking at this, I see the face, remember, can also be the base. Okay, here's the face, and all the other sides are a parallelogram. Looking at this one right here, I see I have a face of a triangle. Now what you might not see is that on this side is also a triangle, and they would be connected by this invisible line. Very similar to this picture right here. There are 2 faces or 2 bases. Now, if you're looking and we're talking about the distance between 2 bases, the distance between 2 bases is actually going to be the height. If you take a look at my picture, you'll see that I've labeled that from this base to this base is known as the height. Whereas I have a triangle to a triangle, the distance between those two bases is also the height. Remember, we have two parallel or congruent bases. Now, when looking at a pyramid, think about the Great Pyramids in Egypt. A pyramid is a polyhedron that only has one base, only one base, and the base can be any polygon. The shape of the base tells the name of the pyramid. The other faces where this was a parallelogram, this is going to be a triangle, okay? Prisms are parallelograms, pyramids are triangles. Looking at this, we're going to look at some of the different types of pyramids we'll see here. For example, this pyramid has a rectangular base, and remember, this is what we name it after. So because it is a rectangle, it is a rectangular pyramid. Again, the height is going to be from the base to the tippy top. We're going to have a slant height, and that's where the dotted line is listed on the side. But if we're looking for the actual height, you'll see a dotted line from the bottom or the base all the way to the tippy top, also known as the apex. Now, a couple other examples of different types of pyramids is right here. We have a base that is a triangle. So you guessed it, this is going to be a triangular pyramid. What makes it a pyramid? All other sides are a triangle. And if you look down here at the bottom, lucky us, we have a 5-sided polygon. We know that's a pentagon, so that's a pentagonal pyramid. Let's take a moment and let's try to name the different shapes that we have down here at the bottom. Looking at these shapes, again, what we're going to try to do here is not only are we going to name them, but we're going to name what we know about them. Let's take a look. I'm seeing that I have two bases, here's and here, and everything around it is a parallelogram. That means that this is a prism. Looking at the sides and the shapes, I'm going to say that this is a rectangular prism. What I know about this is there are 1, 2, and then if I go around each side, there's going to be a side 3, a side 4, a side 5, and it's going to sit on 6 faces. Remember, vertexes are points where they're going to meet, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 vertices. And then edges. Remember, we talked about that edges are going to be where two bases meet. Counting up how many places they meet, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 edges. Let's go ahead and name this next shape. This next shape, it looks like I have mostly triangles, but one shape that's a little different. This tells me that I'm working with a pyramid. Remember, as long as only one shape is the base, the rest should be triangles. Looking at this base, it looks like all sides are equal, so this must be a square pyramid. I'm going to name it off the base. All 4 sides are the same. Talking about faces, if I have a bottom face of a square, there's going to be 4 sides that a triangle will come from. 1, 2, 3, 4, giving me a total of 5 faces. When we're looking at vertices, this is the points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up top would also be 5. Edges where they're going to meet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 I can't see, 8 on the back side. Go ahead and take a moment. I want you to try the next 2 on your own. If you look back at our notes, you'll notice that this is extremely similar to what we already worked with, and the name of this shape is a triangular prism. Because there's 2 triangles on each end and 1 parallelogram connecting each, I have a total of 5 faces. Looking at vertices, I have a total of 6, 3 on this side, plus 3 on this side, which gives me a total of 6. As far as edges, remember this is where 2 faces are going to meet, and my total for this shape is 9. The final shape that we have for our notes today is a special shape, and we're always going to name our pyramids by their base. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and 6 sides tells me that that is a hexagon or hexagonal, and because they're all triangles, this must be a pyramid. With the hexagonal pyramid, I'm going to have 1 base and then a triangle coming up from each side, which gives me a total of 7. When I'm looking at how many vertices, I should also have 7 with a total of 12 edges. I hope this helps. Remember, you can watch and re-watch these videos. If you have any questions, please join the live session or email your teacher. Way to go.